Yes, actually, I've been at my current position for about a month, so this is actually my first investor presentation, so take it from there. I think hopefully goes well. Any questions? I can ask also if you have any questions in Swedish, feel free. I'm Swedish, so I can take it in both languages. So before I start, yes, I'm new, so there are some things that will likely change in the future in terms of potentially strategic direction and similar, but currently this presentation is based on where we are today, to a large degree at least. So first, I'd like to cover, for those of you who are new to this company, a little bit about the company in itself, where it comes from, then go through the products. I will show you some details, but we also have quite a large number of products we're working on with customers. I will touch upon that briefly in the product section as well. And then a little bit on the strategy, as mentioned. I will go into this. As I said, there will probably in the future be some changes to the strategy. I wouldn't say drastic changes, but some changes. And a little bit in the end on the ownership structure as well. All right, so what is Piezomotor about? We are active in the micromotor market, so that's a wide space. If you talk about the total number of units being sold in this space, it's above 1 billion units. So it's a large market. With a large market, it comes the fact that you can't be active everywhere, so you need to make sure you have your specific segments that you focus on. And currently the business is focused on, I would say, very high precision type of applications. You can see them in semicon, optics, and similar applications. But we are moving into more of a high volume space, which I will cover somewhat in the product section as well. It is a integrated business in the sense that we do everything from core R&D to even manufacturing of some of the core components that we use for our assemblies. So I think in the future this will slightly change. When we move into high volumes, there will be some things we cannot simply do ourselves because we don't have the capacity. So there will be some changes, but today it's a fully integrated model. We do sell some things direct, but we also have quite a wide network of resellers that we use globally. It is a growing business, the base business, and we work with large, and I would say medium-sized to large customer base globally. It's really a global business, which is what I find also attractive because it suits my profile quite a bit. So it's a quite heavy tech-oriented in terms of the R&D. It's quite complicated products. The integration is very complicated. You talk about extremely high precision in some of these application areas. You talk about semicon. It's really, really complicated to get it right. But at the end of the day, it's quite beneficial too. Once you're in, you're in. So you will be in there for quite a while with these applications and customers. Now, if you look at the products, so there are some changes coming up. So this on the right-hand side, that's more the traditional one where the company started and came from. It's really about very, very high precision, very demanding environments. And as mentioned, medtech, semicon, and some advanced optics, that's really where these products are used today. It is quite complicated manufacturing process. It is also the benefits of this technology is that it's very, very precise. It also has a holding force. Basically, if you put it, you don't need to put any current into it to hold it. So basically, if you need to hold an application, something you normally want to position, you just want to hold it. You can just you don't need to do anything with it. Basically, you will just hold. So there's a huge benefit of that. Very, very precise as well in the holding force. So there is also some other. What we're doing right now is to broaden the product portfolio, and you will see on the left-hand side that is a product that we already have. It's not a really launched product. It's an existing product that we're developing in the future. It's going to be mostly for very, very small dimension requirements and also quite low forces. So you can see that the forces at the current version is 0.1 Newton. That's about 10 grams that you can move. But if you look at what we are investing in right now is the bridge between the two. And this is the middle there is what also has attracted interest in different new application areas from some very large customers. And that is what we call länken, is the next generation product. It is based on the core technology from on the product on the left-hand side, but it brings a whole different parameter change in terms of being about 30 times more powerful than on the left-hand side. So it opens up a huge range of application areas that it can be used for. It also has a completely different cost profile than the product to the right-hand side. It's way much more efficient for high volume manufacturing. Means you can really launch it into high volume applications that we're not even touching today. So there's a lot of efforts going into this middle model right now, and it's also here that we have collaboration with some larger tech companies out there that are evaluating this from some applications. So with this product, what we call the Link product, there is some, what you can say, we have, I think this has been communicated for a while, we have an ongoing collaboration with we're not allowed to tell the name of this company, but it's a very large tech company that is evaluating this product for one of their applications. It is a collaboration product, meaning that they will be able to use this product for their specific application, while we also can use it we're quite free to sell it to whatever we want. But we are owning the core IP. But the benefits of this one is that they will really help us move into high volume capacity with all the requirements that comes with it in terms of durability, test and validation, everything. Some of these things we can do ourselves, but it's very, very demanding process to go through, which is why it's beneficial to have a big partner like this that challenges you on a daily basis. We also do have ongoing validation of within the telecom infrastructure space, where there is some likely very high volume applications in the future. We are also in parallel right now working on setting up the high volume manufacturing. This is the plan is we will go in different phases, but this is a product that will be set up for the future for fully automated manufacturing. And it's quite a small footprint for the manufacturing, meaning you could have it in multiple locations if needed, close to customers. It can also be, where we see the trade situation in the world today, there might be a benefit to be also located in different regions. So this definitely can do that with the setup that we are preparing at the moment. There will be, we have some initial products that will be launched. The plan is to do it later on in the fall, but there will be a wide range of solutions and products coming out of this core technology. So there's a widening of the product roadmap that we are planning on right now. So strategy. The overall micromotor market is, as mentioned, is a big space. There is not only the actual units themselves, the motors, but there's also a whole range of surrounding equipment that you need to be able to use this technology. I met a partner last week. They are in specific niche segments. Their niches are growing about 5 to 7% on an annual basis. And I think in the future you see the trends are with us, to put it that way. There's a trend towards miniaturization. There's also the power requirements are going up with the smaller footprint. There's also the precision in general with the smaller sizes is going up. So the trends are with us. There's also other trends in the society you see in terms of automation. In the future, it's going to be even more robotization than today. So there will be a lot of shifts into even more usage of micromotors as I see it, and with a whole range of surrounding equipment. So it's a good space to be in. Now it's big, so you need to be selective. You can't be everywhere; it's impossible. But there are some good opportunities coming up on a regular basis. So it's a good space. So what we will do initially is to continue growing where we are today. We have still a lot of uncovered ground in the existing base business that we do today. And we will do that, continue with that. It's going to be more efficiencies that we will pull out of it. There's going to be new products launched in this space as well. But then really we will push into the high volume application domains much more than we do today. And this is with the new technology. And we have really good, I would say, good tractions of customers interested in working with us in these areas. If you look at, in general, there are I mentioned some of the trends already in terms of our growth moving forward. You see it on the existing business that has potential to growth, and it can also be a very profitable business. Some of these domains I mentioned, semicon optics, if you are good in that domain, you can have very high margins. There's also the 5G rollout, which will have an implication on, in general, of these type of products. MedTech, continued growth in there. I myself have quite a bit of background in the MedTech space, and I think there is a lot of opportunities in there, in different types of equipment, different types of markets. We see it also on the IoT space. I wouldn't call it necessarily IoT. It's more, I would say, in general, robotization, and also automation in general. Those are growing trends. You can also see it in the manufacturing space. There's a lot of automation going on today, and it will grow even further in the future. Automotive, yes, I think there's a lot of opportunities in automotive. Personally, I think that we will initially not focus on automotive. Not that there's not any opportunities there. There's actually plenty of opportunities, but it's a quite a demanding domain to be in, and you get easily sucked up into large products that can kill an organization like ourselves if you're not careful, because they require a lot of efforts, a lot of support. There can be benefits of it too. It can help you really to become efficient with a very high quality manufacturing setup, but we can do that already today with the partners that we're working on. So I think that's a little bit later in our plan growth. If you look at the ownership structure, I think this is it's a benefit that we have today on our journey, and we will hopefully can also expand that ownership structure a little bit. But the main owner is Adam Dahlberg family, the Crawford family. He's been an owner for a long time, and he's also the chairman of the company. We have two industrial owners that are have a quite large share of ownership. That's Valuation and Micromo. Valuation is themselves active in the micromotor space. They're one of the quite big supplier into the really high precision, high quality domain. And it's quite a good partner to have, because not only as a distributor, but also as an investor. They know the markets really well, and they can also support us in our global expansion. Micromo, the same thing there. They're also actually kind of affiliated with the Valuation group, and it's a US-based distribution company. But they're also more into the application space domain using micromotor technologies. And then there is some institutional investors we see as well. Current valuation, I guess this changes by the day. I didn't check it today, but it's been hovering around the 700 million mark for some time. And we haven't been so active recently in terms of our communication. We will, we have a lot of things going on, but we will hopefully be more active in this space later on in the year. So that's about it. That's my presentation, and I guess that leaves any questions that we have here from you or from the crowd.
If you don't mind, if I can take a stand here.
Please.
Then, first of all, perhaps I would like to start off by just going through your end market applications a bit more in detail. So you talk about medtech, you talk about telecom. For example, in telecom, the motors can be used to precisionally align satellites and frequency bands and things like that. But could you just give a brief overview of what your specific applications are?
Yeah, I think there are existing usage of micromotors in the networks today, in the infrastructure networks. That is already in place, but it's based on a different technology and a different integration solution. With the 5G, there is a possibility to change this and use a little bit different way of controlling filters, as an example. There's a big interest from telecom OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, to use these type of solutions in their networks. Now it's a complex world, though. There's a lot of change that has to take place. So as with the 5G rollout, we see that they are in the initial steps. I think the real takeoff will come in 2-3 years from now, where I think our products could be in use.
And if we look at the medtech segment, where are you active?
We are active in different domains today. I would say In the future, I think we will be much more active into different analytical equipment. There's a lot of usage there of precision solutions, and with the new setup, the new products that we're launching, there will be also some very good possibilities to have much higher volumes today, where we are not necessarily looking for some of the extreme precision that we have been working on previously. It could be, for instance, in some certain pump solutions. It could also be some smaller devices which are a little bit more price sensitive. So I think there are some opportunities on the equipment side there.
Yeah, and we just look at competitiveness.
Yeah.
The competitors you are facing today, and when you go to a customer, is it a direct competitor often, or is it that you're replacing another technology?
Yeah, good question. Today, the competition is, I would say, largely, there's some other solutions that you can use, but it's mostly what domains we can really support them with. There's some of the requirements that they are very, very demanding. So it's more of us to say no to some application because it takes too much time to implement them. However, in the future, with the new technologies, we will face a different range of competitors. We are moving into what I would call replacing existing solutions from DC motor manufacturers. The big benefits that we have is, if you look at the way people are moving things today, it comes from a traditional way of having a rotating motor based on the design. They traditionally was the first things in the world that came through with electrification, and you move it often into some kind of linear movement. What we can do, we can go direct to linear. We don't have to have the gearboxes, similar things in between, which facilitates and simplifies the design. So I think there's a learning curve for people to move away from the traditional ways of using engine motors, but I think that's going to be to our benefit in the future.
And then your motors are based on a specific type of physics and the raw material. When it comes to the raw material, do you see any risk of there being a shortage or price pressure on your end?
There are some materials, I would say rare metals, not very rare metals that goes into it, but I would say the risks are very low. I would say we're much less depending on the high prices of metals than the existing DC manufacturers. Our components are to much lesser degree based on some of these metals that has huge variation in terms of price.
And now you're going into my next question here, because when you look at perhaps your most direct competitors, what sort of materials are they using, or do any of them have a fairly similar technological products compared to you?
So there is the material in itself, which might have some similarities, and it's quite a heavily used material. The piezo in itself is used in different types of applications today. And the composition of these materials can vary a little bit, but I would say the core technologies on the material is not really. It's very complicated to get it right, but it's not something that is maybe necessarily extremely unique. The uniqueness is how you drive it. That's where the uniqueness comes in. Basically, how do you apply the force from what you can create from a piezo movement into a physical linear or rotary movement? That's where the complication is, and that's where some competitors have different solutions in this space. I think with our the new product we're launching is quite unique in the sense that it's very, very powerful in terms of the size, and it's also in terms of how you can compete in terms of price in the future.
Because now you're talking about price here, and when we look at these high volume end markets and applications, how should we think about pricing of your products and your eventual profitability? Because one can imagine that when you go up against these large technology companies, they wouldn't be too willing to let you price your products any way you like it.
True. There will be, of course, some level of price pressure. So, but that's something you have to build into the organization and be one step ahead of it. I think initially for a quite long period of time, I don't think the price pressure would be so. I mean, you have to meet certain price criteria to be designed in, yes, for sure. But once that is done, I think it will take some time before you would start to see some pressure on price. So I think the first hurdle is to get in through the door, basically. And as you see in the electronic space, I have quite a lot of background in that space. There will be more competition coming at a later stage. Some people will always try to have maybe the second or even the third source, depending on the technology. But we are in a situation where we have some quite strong IP, which can be a hindrance sometimes for people to use this. They might tell you have to set up a couple of separate factories and similar things, but we can manage that. So I would not see the price pressure being too high from the beginning.
Okay. And now concerning IP.
Yeah.
What does your patent portfolio look like today? And do you have any key IPs expiring and in the near time?
Nothing expiring in the near term, no. But to be honest, I don't have all the details of the patent portfolio, to be honest with you. Ask me next month and I should have more details.
Yeah.
But we are quite active in applying for new patents, and we will continue to do that to really protect some of the core technologies that we have developed. So that's part of our strategy, to be strong in IP in general. And also in the future, we do license out some IP today. We have done that already, and we potentially might do it in the future as well.
Because of course you haven't been CEO that long.
No.
It would be very interesting to know what were your initial first thoughts before entering the office in Uppsala, and what do you have? What are your
well, I
now?
think it is, I would say, a classic company that is, that has an existing business that has come from quite a strong R&D background and moving into commercialization, and now that has to take the next step. And the readiness, the willingness to do it is there. I would say there are some core areas that we need to invest further in to drive it harder, and that's something I've already seen. So there will be some investments in particular on the front end side of the business to really commercialize some of the good technologies that we have.
Then of course you come from an international background.
Yep.
What are the key objectives that you intend to drive going forward? I mean, you work in an international market, of course. So what?
Well, I think there are different areas that I see that I can bring a lot of value to the company. One of them is on the operational side, where when you move into a high volume domain, there are a lot of requirements on the organization in terms of quality procedures, general processes throughout the organization that has to be put in place. There's also the how you drive a commercialization. Even if you have great technologies, great products, you need to get them out there. And there's a lot of work to be done there for any company. And there's something I can also and will push hard in the organization to do that and drive that really, really hard. Not only to push whatever out there, is really to select which ones are we really going to focus on, to basically say no to things you will not do. And it's also, that's the hardest thing, I think, for new companies, to say no to things that pop up. People are really eager to work with any customer that knocks on the door. You got to be really selective and you got to be focused. Otherwise, you will not succeed.
And now you recently, the company recently took the decision to invest in a factory, for example, for more high volume manufacturing. What is your view on cash burn, and do you feel that you might need additional capital within a year or so, given your investments and growth strategy?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the rate of expansion that we want to do. I think we could, we could really move to a very, very slim cash burn if we wanted to. But I think it's more a matter of how quickly we want to use the opportunity that we have in the market. So we will see. At the moment, not anything foreseen, but depends how quickly we want to move.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to hearing more about your growth journey.
Thank you. All right.